Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into the video. I appreciate it. You're just Brent. Hey guys, my name is Kapt, and today's how-to video is going to be about the first things that you should do when joining into Sea of Thieves. Now, before we get started, I'd just like to say that I'm not a partner of Discord. I am just wearing this hat because I use Discord all the time, and yeah. The reason why I'm making this video is because Sea of Thieves just recently came out on Steam, and if you weren't aware of that, there you go, there's the news. Lots of people have been asking me in my streams and stuff like that, of like what to do, what are things that I should do and things like that. So I think this would be like kind of like a part one of just generic things that you should do when you first spawn into Sea of Thieves. I myself have been playing Sea of Thieves for not that long, but I've picked up on it really quick, and I'm not Pirate Legend yet, but I'm pretty close. Should be hitting it within the next couple days. But before I get into anything, I'd just like to say that if you guys ever want to watch my live streams or anything like that, check out the links in the description. I'll link my Twitch channel. You can follow me on twitch.tv/Kapt, and yeah, you can kind of see like all this stuff in action, things like that. Take some notes, ask me any questions throughout the stream if you want to do that. And yeah, one of the first things that I think people should do when you first spawn in is understanding you know, what to do right away. So when you first spawn in, you're going to be spawning in at what's called an outpost. These outposts have, you know, people that you can talk to. You can buy things from them, and you know, like cosmetic stuff, whether it's for your guns, your outfits, your ships, or anything like that. And those are the people that you can spend your gold at that you earn throughout the game. Now, there are other people that you can talk to, and they're called factions. These factions are Merchant, Gold Hoarder, Order of Souls, and then there's also the, you know, the legendary faction where you can get Athena stuff, but that's way later in the game. Won't be talking about that in this video. But the only thing that I'm going to be focusing on in this video is just kind of general things to look over on your ship when you first spawn in. And we're first going to touch on, like, if you spawn in by yourself or with one other person, generally you guys will be sailing in on a sloop. And that is just a 1 to 2 person, pretty small ship with one sail. Pretty easy to manage by yourself once you start getting the hang of things. So when you spawn in, typically what I like to do is throughout the island, there are lots of barrels that contain food, planks, cannonballs, and then worms. I generally, myself, don't do any fishing or anything inside the game, so I don't pick up worms all that often, but that's what they're there for. You can fish when you're sailing and catch fish and then cook that fish on your ship and stuff like that. As I was saying, you go around the island, look at those barrels, open them up, and grab what you can out of them. So you can generally carry only up to 5 food. You can carry up to 10 cannonballs, and then there's special cannonballs that you can carry a variety of amounts of. And then there's also planks. You can carry up to 5 planks at a time. So that stuff you generally want to grab and then put some of it on your ship, and you can keep looting that island back and forth, as you can see here. And then once I get done looting the outpost that I spawn in at, what I like to do is go onto my ship, turn off all the lights, except for like the very bottom too. The reason why you do this, and this is, you know, something you don't have to do, but it's generally something that I've made a habit of just because I don't want people being able to see my ship far across the sea. When you turn off your lights, your ship becomes a little bit harder to see as compared to like with your lights on. So that's just kind of like a beginner tip. If you want to try, you know, kind of spawn in and sail the sea and, you know, you're by yourself and things like that. If you want to try to avoid as much conflict as possible, I would start off by turning off your lights. And then another thing that I generally like to do, depending on, you know, like if I'm sailing out to do something specific, I check the map. And the reason why I check the map is because on that map, if anybody is on a Reaper emissary, which generally means that, you know, they're out to, you know, take your loot. They're out to sink you, you know, be very aggressive and things like that, and that's what they're there for. But if you have a Reaper emissary, you show up on the map, as you can see here. So if you're just starting out, you generally want to avoid these people because they're very aggressive and they're there to basically sink you and take your loot. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's just generally good practice to do those first few things when you first spawn in. So when you're in the beginning of the game, you generally want to talk to your factions and stuff like that, which, like I mentioned earlier, is the 3 things: the Merchant, the Gold Hoarder, and the Order of Souls. Each of these 3 people will have different types of missions that you can do and voyages. So the gold hoarder, you know, you're going out and finding treasure, and you know, that's generally what the missions, the voyages consist of. Order of Souls, you go out, you're killing captain skeletons, and you're getting those skulls to return to the Order of Souls lady, whoever it is. Merchant, you're generally going out, finding, you know, like crates of silk, tea, food, like just a whole bunch of random stuff. So that's kind of a brief explanation as to like the factions and things like that. I'll also make another video in the future discussing like the factions and the types of voyages that you usually get. You know, that right there was just kind of like a general description of what that stuff is. But that's kind of how you get started into the game. So if you need some sort of direction, you can buy voyages from any of these 3 factions. And these voyages, when you purchase them, they give you a little map. And depending on, you know, if you mess with your keybinds or if you're on a controller or anything like that, you know, by default, for me, it's the R key. If I hold that down, I can view all of my islands that I have to go visit. So you'll pull up your destinations, which will either be islands or they'll sometimes be riddles. In this case, it is a riddle. So the riddle just tells you right there what island you need to go to. In other cases, it might be the shape of an island, and then you have to locate that same shape on your map, on your boat. Generally at the start, you'll probably do a lot of voyages and things like that. And that's kind of how you start building up your gold. You start building up doubloons. That's generally just kind of like a overview of how to get started in Sea of Thieves. There are things that I talked about in this video that I will go over more in detail, like things called emissaries. You can buy emissaries from any of these 3 factions as well, but you have to reach a certain level, so it's not something people generally start out with. So when you're first starting in, you want to buy, you know, voyages from any of those 3 people, and that's generally kind of like how you get started. That's how you start earning gold. That's how you can, like, you know, level your factions up, because if you level all 3 of your factions up to level 50, you become Pirate Legend, and then you start getting different voyages from the guy in the tavern. And again, that's all stuff that'll be in a later video. If you're here watching this video, it's very likely that you either just bought it on Steam or you bought the game, you've played it for a little bit and have no idea what to do. So this is hopefully to help you, at least like when you get started to spawn in, kind of what to do. If you have any questions or anything like that, leave a comment down below, or I would highly recommend tuning into my stream, twitch.tv/Kapt. I am live as much as possible, generally at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You know, trying to stream every day right now. Some days I got some days off, but yeah, if you guys want to tune in, I would greatly appreciate it. And that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching, and check out the next video when it comes out, which will hopefully be sometime next week. See you guys later.